Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to Mother to Muse, the podcast where women remember who they are. I'm your host, Aviance, and this space was created for women who have spent so much of their lives being everything for everyone else, the caretaker, the problem solver, the responsible one. But somewhere along the way, many of us forgot that our lives are meant to be experienced too. Here at Mother to Muse, we talk about returning to yourself, designing a life that feels beautiful, and stepping fully into the woman you are becoming. So, wherever you are right now, whether that's driving, cleaning, walking, or sitting quietly with yourself, take a deep breath and let's begin. There's something people rarely talk about when it comes to personal growth. Growth is uncomfortable. We often imagine transformations as this beautiful, inspiring journey. But in reality, it often feels confusing. Old habits begin to shift, relationships change, your priorities evolve, and sometimes it feels like you're standing between two versions of yourself. The person you used to be and the person you're becoming. That space in between can feel lonely and hard sometimes because your old life no longer fully fits, but your new life hasn't fully arrived yet, if that makes sense. And if you're in that season right now, I want you to know something. You're not lost. You're just transitioning. There have been moments in my life where I felt like everything was shifting at once. My perspective was changing, the way I approached life was changing, the things I desired were changing. And while those shifts were exciting, they were also very uncomfortable because growth often requires letting go of the familiar. And letting go of the familiar can feel like losing parts of yourself. There were moments where I questioned myself, moments where I wondered if I was changing too much, moments where I felt torn between who I had always been and who I was becoming, moments where I felt like, have I been wearing this mask too long? But what I've learned is that growth doesn't erase who you are. It expands who you are. Every meaningful transformation includes a period of uncertainty. It's the space between the old life and the new one. And while that space can feel uncomfortable, it's also where clarity begins to form. Because discomfort is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes discomfort simply is the evidence that you are stretching beyond the version of yourself that no longer aligns. And that stretching can feel emotional. It can feel exhausting. It can feel unfamiliar. It can feel lonely. It can feel confusing. But unfamiliar doesn't mean misaligned. Sometimes unfamiliar simply means there's something new ahead. So ask yourself, what changes in my life feel uncomfortable right now? What part of myself am I outgrowing? And what might those changes be preparing me for? Because growth requires honesty before it creates clarity. And today I want to declare, I trust the growth process. Even when the journey feels uncertain, I know that I am evolving into the woman I've always meant to be. I release the fear of outgrowing old versions of myself because I'm so excited to meet the true version of myself. And I welcome the woman I am becoming with compassion and grace. So, after this episode, reflect on this. What parts of my life are currently changing? How might these changes be guiding me toward a more aligned future? And what would it look like to trust my becoming instead of fearing her? The Muse moment of the week. Notice one area of your life where discomfort may actually be growth in disguise. Now, before you go, remember this. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are simply becoming. And if today's conversation spoke to you, make sure you download the Mother to Muse Companion Journal. The link is in the show notes. Now wrap yourself in softness, love on yourself, and stand in your light. Until next time, that's Muse Energy.